After spending over 100 hours in the beta focusing solely on the Vanguard position, I managed to reach top 500. With that experience, I'm excited to bring you the Ultimate Marvel Rivals Guide to help you find the perfect Vanguard for your playstyle. Personally, one of my favorites. If you love being the protagonist, Venom is the hero for you. Use Venom Swing to gain high ground, then slam down with Frenzied Arrival to knock back and disrupt enemies, setting them up for either you or your team to finish off. When low on health, you can pop Symbiotic Resilience for a huge shield that scales with missing HP. A huge piece of information to remember is CC can stop Venom during his swing and during his cellular corrosion. However, a cheeky game mechanic allows you to keep your corrosion attached to the enemy while in your ultimate, and you're unstoppable in that ultimate as well. Keep going in off cooldown, stay alive, and you're doing your job just fine. But if you're looking for both aggressive and defensive hybrid style, then Thor is definitely your way to go. His 2-second cooldown managed by his passive Thor Force allows you to spam abilities by weaving in primary attacks. Start with 3 Thor Force and each ability consumes 1, but landing a primary attack within 2 seconds of using that ability restores 1 Thor Force. A basic combo begins with Storm Surge to close the gap and CC enemies, granting a 200 HP shield, followed by a primary attack to reset Thor Force, and then Awakening Rune to enter a charged state, shooting powerful lightning projectiles. Be cautious though, during Awakening you're locked in for 5 seconds, so avoid using it too close to enemies. You cannot use your shift at all. Some key tips. Know your team. If the other primary or secondary tank is a peeler, then you're free to be aggressive, but if you have a Venom or a Hulk with you, you must focus on peeling and protecting your supports. Understand your role, and as Thor, you will excel immensely. That hybrid style cannot be said about this beast, but he's still a monster to deal with whenever you have him set up. Magneto. If you're looking for a Sigma-style tank with a little bit more, the Magneto is for sure your way to go. With his strong Zarya-like shields, making him excellent at playing objectives on or off the payload, his shield and knockback help him disengage and stall fights immensely. Whether using his sword defensively to win tank duels or aggressively to snipe the backline, Magneto excels in both roles. Some key tips. Always manage your cooldowns, especially the 30-second timer for your sword. Be ready with your ultimate as well for peeling, engaging, or finishing off enemies. A well-timed burst can prevent any healer from saving the target. The same can't be said about this beast, however, he is kind of a beast. While not as chaotic as Venom, Hulk excels at both peeling and aggression. His right click locks down diving tanks or DPS, and his Gamma Shield can save nearby teammates. Hulk's jump has no cooldown either. If he manages to grab a hero out of midair, they're left stunned on the ground for 2 seconds. During that time, you're able to take full damage from any source. His Winston-style ultimate also going to go full monkey mode as it heals him to full HP and grants him an additional 750 HP, giving you the option to CC lock an enemy for 5 seconds, leaving you and them untargetable during that entire duration. With that being said, Hulk can stall fights for an absurdly long time, and without consistent damage from heroes like Punisher or Star-Lord, he's nearly impossible to kill. The same cannot be said about Peni Parker though. She is, I don't even know who to relate her to. She's just interesting. Peni Parker challenges traditional playstyles but struggles without her mines, making her one of the weakest heroes I've ever seen. After searching for viable strategies, it's clear she excels only in defense on payload maps, where her mines can catch unaware enemies. Once the minefield is gone, she has no damage, ineffective web swing compared to Venom or Spider-Man, and weak CC. She needs more damage in her kit because without those mines, she becomes the most worthless champion in the entire game. Tips I would give for Peni Parker though would be making sure that you and your teammates are fully aware of where your mines are set up and playing around that spot. Like Penny though, this character fits pretty well in the defensive playstyle. I bring you Groot, an extremely strong meatball-like primary tank. His 2 main abilities are his walls, one of which does damage to enemies. These walls can either trap enemies or protect teammates, making him extremely disorienting to play against, especially for melee heroes. Groot's main role isn't about flashy plays, but about timely walls to block threats or save allies. As a frontline tank, his massive HP gap lets him absorb damage while setting up clutch ultimates when least expected. Tips: get comfortable placing your walls down naturally even if you make mistakes. The more confident you are, the more impactful your wall placement will be. If you like more of a Reinhardt shielding playstyle, then Strange is definitely your guy. A highly defensive hero excelling at keeping enemies at distance just like Magneto. His Maelstrom of Madness helps with enemy dives, dealing more burst damage the higher stacks, but it applies a healing reduction until cleansed. What makes Strange so tricky is making sure you're always watching your passive buildup to know when you can do a maximum amount of damage without also fucking yourself over and getting one shot. The best Stranges that I've seen find a balance around when they want to use their passive and when they shouldn't. It's one of those things where you just have to get used to when you have to use it when you can. Another great Strange play is flying in front of Magnetos or Hellas or Iron Man, blocking their ultimates completely with your shield. Moving into Captain America. I feel like Captain America is one of those champions where, like Thor, he's gonna have the same defensive and aggressive playstyles, but for him, he's gonna find himself way more aggressive than most champions. From what I've seen, his projectile defense, his speed, his mobility in general, I just feel like he's only gonna be useful for distracting enemies and getting around the backline. Honestly, I feel like if you want to play him like a duelist, you can as well. His player model seems so tricky to hit, and the amount of damage he can dish out for how fast he hits, he just seems only incredibly useful if you're deep and you're in there. But the amount of montages I can see with this champion are going to be off the charts. Blocking Groot Ultimate, or Iron Man, or Magneto, it's going to be kind of crazy the amount of things this guy can do, especially if he just jumps out in front of you when you least expect him. I've seen the amount of dashes you can have in midair as well. I've seen how far you can go if you save your dash for midair. This champion's going to be one of those Vanguards where if you want to one-trick him, you're gonna have to find your own play style how to play with him, because he's not gonna play the same way every single game, and I can see a lot of players not liking him on their team at all. For all you Black Panther fans out there, I would strongly recommend Captain America as your Vanguard of choice. They're definitely not exactly the same, but their playstyles are pretty similar in my opinion. Try them out. I don't believe that every single Vanguard is on par with each other, but I do believe that if you want to find your own niche in these champions, you can. The aggressive Doomfist style tanks aren't going to feel as bad because you have that extra tank to hold it down in the backline with you. There are a lot of players that like playing for their team, and there are a lot of players that like doing their own thing. So being able to take a slice out of each side is extremely rewarding. Either way, I hope this video helped you guys find your main. If it did, give me a like, give me a comment, and let me know who you're most excited to play leading into December 6th. I just hope we get Mr. Fantastic.